Hello and welcome to Coming Inside Out. I am John Derler.
I am Brian James.
And welcome, everyone. We are glad you are listening to us.
Absolutely.
And just want to put it out there that in hopefully August or September, we are going to have an amazing therapist that is going to be on here. She is, again, we'll give you more details later, but she is going to be coming on. So what I'd like for you guys to do, if you want, if you have any questions, what you're going through or you don't know, write us, email us. You know our email, which is cominginsideout@gmail.com. So that we can maybe ask her when she comes on. I'm hoping we do a two-parter. I'm hoping we do a two-parter. We have enough time to. We probably won't have enough time for one, but again, if you're thinking of that, start. Write us. Let us know. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's hot.
It's
windy.
It's
hot.
hot.
My house.
It's
a
hot.
lot of fires.
Yeah, a lot of fires over there, and it's
Yes. Well, I apologize. I did not get a chance to print our emails.
Oh,
I don't have any emails for you today. I wanted to share with you that there's a Facebook group, Gay Fathers Worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
I've been a member of that since maybe January of this year. And
how many's in there?
Oh, almost 1,000 right now. And I'm going to the retreat in September. They're having a retreat in Sagatuck, Michigan, which is on whatever. But anyways, I'm going to go to that. But once a month they do a Zoom.
Okay.
I've never been on their Zoom. Mm-hmm. Can't talk about what's on the Zoom. What happens on the Zoom stays on the Zoom. I need to respect everybody's privacy with that. But I joined the Zoom call. What an amazing group of men. These are all gay fathers. They've come out. They haven't come out. They're half out. They're completely closeted. Oh. They get on there. They do an introduction. And then people really share their struggle. And it was so enriching for me because I sit inside of my own shit all the time. Yeah. To get out of myself, to hear other people talk, to hear what they have to say, what they're going through. Mm-hmm. So it was really nice. So if you are in the gay community, you're, obviously a man, have children, Gay Fathers Worldwide. What an amazing group of men. And one of the guys, when it was his turn to be introduced, I will share this. Okay. We'll plug for ourselves. Sure. When it was his turn to be introduced, he said, and oh my God, Brian's on the podcast. Brian, I love your podcast. Or Brian's on the Zoom. I love your guys' podcast. So he gave us a plug. So that was nice. Good. Yes. So I appreciated that. I'm spending a lot of time researching our podcast, following other people's stories, talking to a lot of people. I respect everybody's privacy 100%. So I am paraphrasing, and I wanted to read something paraphrased. It's not in exact words, but just so you and I can both, hear this, and our listeners, there's so many of the men out there. Mm-hmm. Somebody wrote, they wrote into our email. Did not. I saw somebody, and this wasn't on Gay Fathers. This wasn't on I'm not like outing anybody. Okay, go. But this is just something I read. Coming to terms with my sexuality has been a great opening to understanding me as me. And then this man used the following words to describe his life, how it's been in the closet: anxiety, immobilization, panic attacks, vomiting, stomach cramps, fear. Oof. I can relate to all of those. Every one of those I've had myself. Mm-hmm. And then this person also said they spent over 1 hour crying, trying to build up the courage to come out to another person. Wow. We've both been there. Yeah. We have both been there. Our listeners have been there. Yeah. And some of you may be right there. Yes. To come to speak those words.
Right.
So we have a lot of guys that are reaching out to us, instant messenger, whatever. I said it in past podcasts, and just kind of, they're saying this for the first time. They're, venturing out, even though they're still closeted. And I wanted to share because so many of these men, talk about, wanting to find the courage to come out, the words to say, how they felt, what they were going through. And so my wife and I separated when I was 50. Our divorce was finalized when I was 51. And I wrote this when I was 51. And I said, I am gay. I posted this on our Facebook page. Wow. I am gay. I was 47 years old before I allowed those words to escape my lips. I had known I was gay before I knew what gay was, but I was living a very suppressed lifestyle. The reality of who I was ran wild in my mind all day, every day, but it wasn't until I was 47 years old that I spoke the words, I am gay. They lived in my head forever, but hearing myself say that. So I don't need to read the whole thing, but I was driving to work. I was just consumed with stress and anxiety and the stomach, panic attacks. And, I used to do tapping. What is that called? EFT? No, where you tap and, I think it's called emotional freedom technique where you tap on all the body parts. Yep. So I would drive to work with CD in my car. A CD? Yeah, the compact discs. Yeah. And it was on tapping, and I would listen to it, and you would do all your body part tapping to calm yourself down. So I used to tap on my way to work while I was driving because I was just consumed with this. So that was so freeing for me, driving down the freeway, and it just slipped out of my mouth. I'm gay. And then I was like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, oh, I'm fucking gay, and just driving down the freeway, screaming at the top of my lungs in my car that I'm gay. And that was the most freeing thing I could have done for myself. It's incredible. But then maybe dangerous too, driving and doing that. But you know what? I'm a dangerous driver. But you know what? But it makes a point though. It happened. Yes. It happened, and it may happen in a library. Yeah. Well, or I can see this as a show, somebody just coming out, at a gay bar. Well, that or a straight bar. Oh, I'm gay. Where's the gay bar? Let me get out of here. That's amazing. That's so, it's so freeing, right? To say, so I wrote, but that's something I wrote, but yes, for all these men that this lives in your mind. And when you speak those words for the first time, oh my God. Right. So I bottled that up, and, it wasn't until I was 50 years old. So 3 years later, I think, I said something, and it kind of made I believe in the universe, a universal shift in my life. And from that moment forward, the universe was working to get me out of the closet. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And it brings you, just puts you in different positions. Do you remember the first time you spoke those words out loud? Dead air time. It is dead air time because I don't think I had that revelation until she caught me. Okay, so you weren't even admitting it to yourself at that time. No, I was not. Until that's when she, because we were living in separate bedrooms, and she goes, and we haven't slept together, and she goes, "What, are you gay?" And the revelation, my first instinct, no, what are you talking about, right? Yeah. That would have been, but I was like, I was done. I was done. And she goes, what are you, gay? And I go, I don't know. Even then you weren't, to yourself. Well, to myself, because I know that I was attracted to women as well. But I wasn't sleeping with women. You weren't sleeping with anybody? Well, no, I did. I acted out. Okay. I was, and I'm not proud of it, but I was acting out during our marriage. And I was unfaithful, and you talking about triggering right now.
It is. I feel bad because I was unfaithful to my wife, and it was hard. It was so hard, and I'm not proud of that, and I'm ashamed of myself because I was doing that because I'm an honest guy. I'm a good guy, but I did, and that's what this this whole process we go through so much, and I was unfaithful. And I didn't want to admit it. I did not want to admit it. And that was the time that was my screaming out that, yes, okay, even though I got caught, yes, I don't know, but yes, I do know. I do know. And I didn't tell her, like, yes, I am. I just said, well, I don't know, because I wanted to ease it. I didn't want to hurt her. I wanted to process this, but I still really didn't know because I was still uh, attracted to women, but I wasn't sleeping with them. So I still feel bad today that I betrayed her. I betrayed I betrayed her, and I feel bad. I still feel bad, but it's a part of who I am now, and I have to own who I am. And it's still, as you can tell, it still hurts, and it's still, there. So, um,
But John, these listeners need to hear the rawness and the vulnerability that comes from us.
Yeah.
Because they are walking in our shoes.
Yeah.
And you are a voice for these people. You're somebody that they can listen to. They're somebody that they can relate to, that they can find compassion in and with, because they're feeling the exact same way.
Right. Right.
Right.
Yeah. Oof. Wow. So yeah, I mean, it's still there. It's still there. But I guess I'm upset. But at least it shows that I'm human.
Yes.
And that's the whole thing. We're human. I suppressed it for so long, and I know people are out there that are doing the same thing. Yes. And I know you're doing the same thing. And
I want to ask you a question, and you can say I don't want to answer this.
Okay.
I can ask you a question.
All right.
When you had this conversation with your wife, mm-hmm. You're, obviously very emotional right now. You're upset. You're tearing up if you're not watching us on YouTube.
Yeah.
Was your upset and what you're talking about today and what you're experiencing today, is it that you cheated on your wife, or that you weren't honest about who you were and what your feelings were? Is it the shame you were a closeted gay man, or it's the shame that you had cheated on your wife?
It was both.
Okay.
It's both.
Good.
It's both.
All right.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah. Yeah, because yours is different. You didn't act out.
In my mind, I was was talking to one of these gay dads. I get in these conversations with these men, and I said, I'm lonely. When I was married to my wife, I went to bed before her. I may have said this in another episode, I don't know, but I would fall asleep before her, and she would always read at night. So she had her light on. I would roll over on my side. She'd have her book, and she would scratch my back with her long fingernails while I fell asleep. And there were so many times while I was falling asleep, I was fantasizing about men.
Right.
I had not had an experience with a man. I would fall asleep and I'd be like, I'm fantasy. I'm at Starbucks and some guy walks up to me and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
Because I had never had the experience. So I have all that shame and guilt that I was mentally cheating on my wife while she was being so loving and kind to me,
Right. And there's a part of betrayal, but it just shows that we're human and we do care, and we're flawed.
Yes.
We're flawed. We're all flawed, and it's about forgiveness. And she has forgiven me. And she's very supportive. But it's not, I don't want to paint the picture that I have a boyfriend and we are all hanging out together. That still stays a little separate because I think it still hurts her.
Yes.
And I want to respect that because we all have, you have your relationship with your wife or your ex-wife, or you're split up or whatever. You still have that. And I think you're going to have you're definitely going to have a different relationship with her. And you may not ever speak to her again, or she may never ever speak to you again. Or you're going to work through it. And then there's going to be boundaries, and there's boundaries with us because I don't talk about me. I haven't even told her about the podcast,
Okay. Wow.
And,
all right. I haven't told my ex about the podcast.
Yeah, I haven't told her about, but I'm okay if she stumbles on it. And, but she may be pissed that I'm doing this.
Yeah,
I don't know. She might be pissed that I'm doing this. Who knows? I just don't know. But, at the end of the day, and my therapist, who's going to be on here, is like, John, you have to take care of yourself. Because I have boys, I have children, and I have to keep it together and be a great father to them, which I am. And I'll tell anybody and fight anybody, I am the best motherfucking dad in the world. I really am. I love it because I've learned so much by not having a dad. But
because you've come out, and then there's an entire new layer, John, that you're able to share with your kids
and be truthful.
Yeah,
and I'm truthful with them, and they are okay with that. They love me for that. They do. I mean, they're it's so freeing that I'm able to be who I am with my sons. And they make jokes or whatever. If there's a guy jogging, I'm like, oh, look at that, and so it's look, if you're listening, and it's you have a good relationship with your ex-wife, I think, right?
My ex and I text, we talk about our kids, but we do not share. I don't know the first thing about if she's seen anybody, if she's dating anybody. She knows. We don't talk about anything other than our children and money. Right. That's what we talk about. So,
well, which is good you're talking, because I'm sure there are men out there that are not even talking, or the wives are not, or ex-wives are not talking to them.
Yes.
And that may be a fear of you not coming out, listener. If that's one of them, because you don't know, you're scared. How is she going to take it?
Yes.
But and that's the other thing that our therapist, when she comes on, is she's going to talk about that, because she wanted support for the spouse, and it's very important that the spouse gets help.
Yes.
And some of them, spouses or wives, will say, no, you need the help, I don't need the help. But what they really need is the help to cope with what's going on.
Yes.
Because this is going to be a major shock to your wife. And I'm a loving guy, I'm a good guy, but I was not faithful, regardless, man, woman, whatever.
Yeah,
I wasn't.
I cheated on my wife emotionally.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of people that are not coming out fear this. They fear this.
It's biggest fear, I think. Yes, their wives. Talking to all these guys, a lot of their biggest fears are the rejection from their children. That's huge.
Right.
And then,
right.
Which, I didn't have this. I don't know, how much you have this, but the second fear is financially. It's a fucking kick in the pants to go through a divorce, and all this stuff. It is a kick in the pants.
Well, and somebody, it is a kick. And, somebody mentioned, I'm like, oh, this is happening to me. This is happening to me. And somebody rephrased it. They go, John, it's happening for you.
It's happening through you.
It's happening for you. Look at it that way. It's happening for you because it forces you to change. These circumstances force us to face the reality, face our fears, and move forward. And the biggest fear that I had, I thought so many people would turn their backs on me, would not. I mean, my best friends that I grew up with would, my fear was that. And when I haven't even told all of them, but I've told most of them, oh my God, the love that came, and everybody that I thought, and I was judging them. I was judging them.
We're predetermining.
I was predetermining them because, they're like, great, congratulations. And I feel a little guilty about that because there's so much fear and there's so much stigma about this. So look, I'm not going to say it's easy. No. It's not easy because you have to take the leap. You have to take the jump. But what I'd said earlier is maybe have somewhat of a plan. Yes. Because when you make the jump, what's next? And that's what I did. Okay.
But at the same time, there's no shame in not having the courage, of course, to take the jump yet. Because there's a lot of men that are listening to this show that are completely in the closet.
Yeah.
And maybe they're already saturated in fear and guilt and all this other crap going on. We don't want to add to it. Everybody is where they're at. It's going to happen, how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
My wish for the men out there that are thinking about coming out or wanting to come out is that it happens on their terms and not on somebody else's terms, because my God, how many stories have we heard where it's happening and it's not on their terms?
Right.
That's, to me, that's more, that adds to the, not the devastation, but just the whole experience of coming out.
Yeah.
You want to really do it on your terms.
Right.
Moving forward a little bit, I listened to this Instagram video, and I listened to it like 6 times, and it just rocked me, and I was just crying. And I didn't type out the whole thing, but I'm going to read this to you because I actually responded to it. I don't respond to a lot on social media because I think, my title is Brian James Realtor. I don't want, people, whatever. But I read that, I listened to this video and I typed it out. And it's this person talking, saying, I spent our entire relationship waiting and hoping for you to live up to the potential that I saw in you, but then realized that I was buying a dream while you were selling a nightmare. You see, I figured out that I was listening to your words instead of watching your actions, and your words were acting like a magic trick that diverted my attention from the fact that you would never be the person that you sold me on in the beginning. And I was like, oh my God, the reason why this spoke so heavily to me, I was that salesperson. I was a closeted gay man. I was selling my wife on who I wanted to be, and my words and my actions never matched, which kind of led to my divorce.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, this is me.
Right.
I'm the perpetrator in this video. Yeah. And I responded and I said, I was that salesperson during my 30-year relationship with my wife until finally she said enough is enough and left me. It took her leaving me to discover who I really was. The salesperson is not always a bad, evil person. Sometimes they're simply lost. I was fucking lost as a closeted gay man.
Yeah.
And I was selling my wife on a bag of tricks that I never intended to,
Sure. Well, you sold everybody.
I sold it.
We sold everybody.
Yes.
We did. And we were also, that's, I like that. That's very good.
How many people did we sell our heterosexuality on for so many years?
Yeah.
Promising to be and then acting something completely different. So I heard that and I was like, oh my God, that was me. So even though I'd been out since 2020, I still get just like these tidal waves of guilt, shame that I'm trying to work through and get over. But I saw that.
Wow, that is deep. It's all of us. Yeah. It's all of us because we're
salespeople
and we're actors. Yeah. We've acted, and society has scared us, society in the 70s, 60s, 70s, people died.
Yes.
People were killed.
Died. Yeah. For us to be standing here today, having a podcast and not being arrested and, all this shit.
I know.
So I have something, you talking about, we talk about this in our lives and everything. And I kind of wanted to, I think other men are struggling with this also. I have two silos in my life. I have the silo of Brian James, realtor, ex-husband, family man, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Also gay. There's me gay in that, but
Okay.
I'm not out flaunting it.
Mm-hmm.
I made a post about it, and some people remember it and some don't.
Okay.
And then there's our podcast.
Yeah.
The silo of us having these deep, rich conversations, talking to these other gay men and everything going on. And I struggle with allowing those two worlds to come together.
Mm.
We talk about this.
That's been our whole lives.
Yeah.
It's been our whole lives. So where is it not?
Well, I had shared with you when I upload these podcasts, it gives me an option of uploading them to Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
But as an option, it allows me to upload it to my personal page, which is Brian Jane's dad, Brian Jane's realtor, Brian Jane's dog owner.
Yeah.
And am I ready for my world to know me?
It's on your time.
Is it time?
It's your time. It's when you say it, and it's when you're ready.
Yes.
And that's the perfect example of what we're doing this show for.
Yes, but I think that there's so many men out there that are struggling with allowing their two worlds to come together.
Yes.
And we share more vulnerable stuff on here than probably the average person is sharing, and we're very public about it. So when is Brian James Coming Inside Out podcaster going to integrate with Brian James and who I am on the other side of that? And same for you. We both struggle with this.
Well, sometimes I keep my businesses separate. I don't integrate.
But with social media today, how would you keep those separate?
It'll organically happen. It'll organically happen. But if it's something that you want to do, or you feel that you have to do it, do it. You just said your first, silo?
Yes.
What are you from? Ohio? Nebraska?
What is it, a corn cutter or rice cutter? What did you use to cut in Texas?
Rice and soybeans.
Rice and soybeans, okay.
But the silo...
I have an insurance background, so I use that.
There you go. Well, the silo that you first mentioned, though, at the very end, and very lightly, you said, and some gayness, or I can't quote you on that.
Well, I came out. I actually posted...
Yeah.
When my wife and I were officially divorced, and I just shared this with you the other day. I ran into somebody that I haven't seen in years, and more than likely that person thinks that I'm still in my marriage and I'm still heterosexual.
Exactly. And it's, it's like, is one ever out completely? Are we ever out completely, or is it an ongoing task that we do?
But as a heterosexual, you don't have to do ongoingly.
No, you don't. And either does
heterosexuality.
I don't think a lot of people that came out when they felt that they were out as a kid, because I think my friend Jamie, came out, so he's not having to he's not having to decipher. He is who he is. But I do understand, because that's what we're here for. That's all of us are here, and we're going to have two pillars or two silos or whatever. I just feel like for mine, I love this. I'm doing it freely. Do I want it on my personal Facebook page? I don't know. Maybe when I get there, maybe there'll be a time. Do I want it on my business Facebook? No, I don't, because I'm focused on my business, and that's what that's for business, and that's for selling.
Yes, I would not have this on my business page.
Yeah.
But I told you my Facebook got hacked last year, and I had a real estate Facebook page and I had a personal Facebook page, and I never established my.
Is somebody going to out you? Well, who's that realtor?
No. I'm not gonna. I wouldn't even.
Well, I'm not going to
mention his name.
But somebody tried to threaten you, right?
Somebody tried to steal a client from me by telling my client that I was gay,
and so he was predetermined.
And I think he's just a huge closeted gay
person himself. Yes. Well, maybe he needs to listen to you a little more on this podcast.
Wouldn't give him I wouldn't know. But anyways, yes.
we're at our mark.
I think a lot of men struggle with how do you incorporate these two into your life. And if I want to live, I'm going to segue for a minute. It is along the same lines. But a couple weeks ago, someone asked me to show up at an event. I was bringing another man with me, and they said, "Hey, could you guys come as a couple, just, in appearance?" So I was like, okay, great. I have a role to play.
Okay.
I'm a gay man, and I'm going to show up at an event as a couple with another gay man. And I was all excited about it. And I'm like role playing it in my head. And then the person I was going to show up with couldn't go. So then my task was, oh my God, Brian, I got to show up as a gay man to this event. And my partner was not able to join me.
Okay.
I'm in the shower, I'm getting ready, and I thought, oh my God, I don't have to prepare for this. This is how conditioned I am as an out gay man.
Right.
I'm so conditioned that when somebody asked me to show up at this event as this person, I felt like I had to prepare myself for a role. And so as soon as I walked in the door, I was like, oh, sorry, my partner couldn't make it. He's working today.
Oscar-winning performance.
But, I just thought, I don't know. For me to show up as this gay man, it just was a little bit of a mind game for me in the moment. And I was like, wow, well, that's who I am.
It is who you are now because for your whole life, you've been putting on an act or the sales. You've been selling everyone, and you've been selling to yourself.
Yes.
I sold myself. You sell yourself, you start believing.
You have to believe it.
You have to. Well, that's our time, guys. This has been nice. Again, if you guys are struggling, please email us if you have questions. And again, we're going to have this amazing therapist on, and if you have questions, please email them to us, and we'll get through them.
cominginsideout@gmail.com.
Yes.
We're getting people that are just commenting through some of our different platforms, YouTube, Facebook. I figure I had to check Instagram. I don't know how to do that. But reach out to us.
Come on.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Woo!